Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Why are you more addicted to your phone than a drug user is to their drug? Now, that might sound like an exaggeration just to get your attention, but it's not. It's a neurological and statistical fact that I want to explore with you today. A recent study found that the average person checks their phone a staggering 96 times every single day. If you sleep for 8 hours, that means you're reaching for that little glowing screen for a quick hit once every 10 minutes. Let that sink in for a moment. Once every 10 minutes. Now, let's compare that to someone with a heavy drug addiction. They might use 2 or 3 times a day. Your subconscious need to check your phone is potentially 30 to 40 times more frequent than their craving. You're compulsively reaching for the most socially acceptable addiction in human history. And the craziest part is, almost nobody is talking about what's really happening to us. Have you ever dared to look at your own screen time report? I did, and I discovered this the hard way. I saw a number that honestly made my blood run cold. 11 hours. I had spent 11 hours in a single, unrepeatable day of my life staring into a digital abyss. That's more time than most people sleep. It's a full-time job with overtime. But the most terrifying part of it all, I had no idea where the time went. It was just gone, sucked into a black hole. Does that feeling sound familiar to you at all? Let me know in the comments if you've ever had one of those "where did the last 2 hours go" moments while on your phone. What they don't want you to know. Here's the core of the issue, and it's something the big tech companies hope you never figure out. The system isn't broken. It was brilliantly designed to work exactly this way. We live in something called the attention economy, a global machine worth over $700 billion. Companies like Facebook, Google, TikTok, and Instagram, they aren't really social media companies. That's the story they sell you. In reality, they are attention harvesting machines. Your attention is the crop they are farming. You are not their customer. You are the product they sell to advertisers. Every feature on your phone is meticulously engineered to keep you hooked. That endless scroll, it was designed to eliminate any natural point where your brain might say, okay, I'm done now. Those bright red notification dots, they weren't chosen because they look nice. They were chosen because the color red triggers a sense of urgency and anxiety in the human brain, compelling you to click. Even the pull to refresh motion was deliberately modeled after a casino slot machine lever. It taps into the exact same psychological reward circuit that gets people addicted to gambling. And this is the part that should really make you sit up and pay attention. These companies hire the same neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists who consult for the gambling industry in Las Vegas. The exact same techniques used to keep someone glued to a slot machine are now inside every app on your phone. Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google, put it perfectly. He said, the problem isn't that people lack willpower. It's that there are 1,000 people on the other side of the screen whose job it is to break down whatever responsibility you have. It's a war for your mind, and most of us are showing up completely unarmed. The real addiction isn't the apps. For years, I thought I could outsmart the system. I tried everything. I set app blockers, I scheduled digital detox weekends where I delete everything, and for a while it would work. I'd feel so proud of myself. But then, inevitably, I would relapse, and the relapse was always worse than before. A quick check of my email would somehow spiral into a 6-hour binge scroll that left me feeling anxious, hollow, and disgusted with myself. That's when I realized the brutal truth. The apps aren't the addiction. The apps are just the dealer. The real addiction is to being endlessly and effortlessly entertained. It's an addiction to having your brain constantly stimulated so that you never ever have to be alone with your own thoughts. We have become a generation that cannot tolerate even 30 seconds of boredom without reaching for a digital pacifier. But what is boredom really? Think about it. Boredom is the birthplace of creativity. It's the quiet space where introspection happens, where original thoughts are born. We have traded our potential for genius for the comfort of constant distraction. The great media theorist Neil Postman warned us about this decades ago. He said we wouldn't be controlled by a big brother that we hate, but by a world of trivial entertainment that we grow to love. He wrote, "What we love will ruin us," and we are being ruined by our love for cheap, easy, endless entertainment. So what's happening inside your brain? So let's get into the science, but I'll make it simple. What's actually happening in your brain when you're scrolling? Every time you get a like, a comment, or see a funny video, your brain releases a small hit of a chemical called dopamine. This is the feel-good chemical. It's the same one you get from eating a delicious meal email, exercising, or achieving a goal. But here's the sinister part. Social media uses a system that researchers call variable ratio reinforcement. This is a fancy term for a simple but powerful idea. You never know when the next reward is coming. You pull the slot machine lever, you scroll, and you might see a boring post, nothing. Another boring post, nothing. A funny cat video, small win. A political argument, nothing. And then an amazing photo from a friend. Jackpot. This unpredictable reward schedule is the exact same mechanism that makes gambling the most addictive behavior on the planet. Your brain gets hooked, not on the reward itself, but on the hope and anticipation of the next potential reward. Over time, your brain develops a tolerance. The same content that used to be fun now feels boring. Your baseline dopamine level drops, which makes the real, non-digital world feel dull and uninteresting in comparison. So you have to scroll faster, consume more, and seek out more extreme content just to feel normal. The Stanford study that changes everything. So what's the answer? Are we all doomed? Do we have to throw our phones in the ocean and become hermits? Absolutely not. The cure, it turns out, is as surprising as the problem is sneaky. Researchers at Stanford University did a fascinating study. They tracked two groups of people who were trying to reduce their screen time. Group A used the traditional methods: willpower, setting app time limits, and scheduling digital detoxes. Group B did something completely different. Every time they felt the urge to mindlessly scroll, they were instructed to replace that passive consumption time with active creation time. They had to write, draw, learn an instrument, code, or work on a personal project. After 6 months, the results were incredible. Group A reduced their screen time by a meager 12%. Group B reduced their screen time by a massive 73%. But here's the kicker. Group B wasn't even trying to reduce their screen time. It happened as a natural side effect of creating more. Why does this work so well? Your brain craves three things: novelty, challenge, and dopamine. Social media gives you all three of them in cheap, artificial, bite-sized chunks. It's like a diet of candy. It gives you a quick sugar rush but leaves you feeling malnourished. But creation provides the same three things in a sustainable, meaningful, and deeply satisfying way. When you're scrolling, you get unearned, cheap dopamine. When you're creating, you earn your dopamine. And earned dopamine is infinitely more satisfying and far less addictive. Think about it yourself. Have you ever binge watched a series for 8 hours and felt genuinely proud and accomplished afterward? Now, think about the last time you spent a few hours completely absorbed in a hobby you love or a project you care about. Which one left you feeling energized and alive, and which one left you feeling drained? I'd love to hear your own experiences with this in the comments. The final step: change your identity. But there's something even deeper happening here. When you create, you fundamentally shift your identity. You go from being a passive consumer to an active contributor, from a member of the audience to the person on the stage. And here's a slightly uncomfortable truth. Most people won't do this. Why? Because consuming is easy and creating is hard. Watching is easier than doing. Most people would rather watch 4 hours of videos about how to play the guitar than spend 30 minutes actually practicing. They'd rather consume endless content about success than actually do the hard work to build it themselves. So here's my challenge to you. I invite you to attempt a 90-day identity heist. You are going to steal back your identity from the attention thieves. For the next 90 days, every time you feel that urge to reach for your phone for a hit of mindless content, you must create something instead. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Write one interesting paragraph in a journal. Sketch one object in the room, no matter how badly.
Write one interesting paragraph in a journal. Sketch one object in the room, no matter how badly. Record a 60-second voice memo exploring a new idea. Film a 30-second video of something beautiful you see. The key is to treat this as an identity change, not a habit change. You are no longer someone trying to use their phone less. From this moment on, you are someone who creates more than they consume. You simply are this person, and you act accordingly. In a world overflowing with passive consumers, creators have all the power. They have the fulfillment and the freedom that everyone else is so desperately seeking through their screens. The data proves this works. The neuroscience proves this works. The only real question left is, will you do it? Or will you just feel a momentary rush of inspiration from this video and then go right back to scrolling? So my final question for you is this: what is one small thing you can can create today. Drop your idea in the comments below. Let's build a community of creators and inspire each other. And if this video opened your eyes, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content on taking back your focus, and share this with one person you know who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.